Today it is Monday, August 11 of the year of the Lord 2025. Today the church celebrates the memory of Saint Clare. She was a disciple of Saint Francis from the same town. At a certain point in her life, when she was 18, she decided to follow Francis, and she is the founder of the Poor Clares, the second order of the Franciscans. And she became a nun in a small church called Saint Damien, and she lived there for the rest of her life. She died there. No? She uh, she is the co-founder of the second order of the Franciscans, the Poor Clares. Today's gospel is taken from St. Matthew chapter 17, verse 22 to 27. As Jesus and his disciples were gathering in Galilee, Jesus said to them, "The Son of Man is to be handed over to men, and they will kill him, and he will be raised on the third day." And they were overwhelmed with grief. When they came to Capernaum, the collectors of the temple tax approached Peter and said, "Does not your teacher pay the temple tax?" "Yes," he said. When he came into the house before he had time to speak, Jesus asked him, "What is your opinion, Simon? From whom do the kings of the earth take tolls or census tax? From the subjects or from foreigners?" When he said, "From foreigners," Jesus said to him, "Then the subjects are exempt, but that we may not offend them, go to the sea, drop in a hook, and take the first fish that comes up. Open its mouth, and you will find a coin worth twice the temple tax. Give that to them for me and for you." The Gospel of the Lord. Today's Gospel is divided in two parts. The first is the second the second time that Jesus announces his suffering death in Jerusalem. For the second time, he tells the disciples, and the gospel says they were overwhelmed with grief. The disciples of Jesus were not following Jesus because they wanted Jesus to be a crucified Messiah, a crucified Christ. They wanted Jesus to be a victorious Messiah, victorious Christ, a king, kind of a king. And Jesus is talking about suffering. No, they will kill him, and he will be raised on the third day. Then the second part is about the temple tax. All males 12 years old and above had to pay the temple tax. In fact, the temple had its own coins at the end, and the tax for the temple was supposed to be used for the worship, to pay the priest of all the worship that was going on in the temple. So the question is, in the time of Matthew, when Matthew wrote the gospel, do the Christians of Jewish origin have to pay the tax to the temple or not? It seems so, because not to scandalize them at the end, no? not to offend them. No? But when Matthew wrote the gospel, the temple was already destroyed. In fact, in the year 70, the Roman troops entered Jerusalem and destroyed completely the temple. The only thing that survived is what we call the Wailing Wall, where the Jewish still go to pray, to cry at the end. So, but the first Christians, remember, they were Jewish, so they had to go to the temple, they pray in the temple, and they had to pay the tax. So Jesus also, as a good Jew, paid the tax. But at a certain point, we the Christians, even though we are rooted in Judaism, we're independent from them. So we are not obliged to pay the tribute to the temple. Share this video with all your acquaintances, please. And from St. Luke's Parish in Irving, Texas, and Samuel the Great in Houston, may God bless you today and always. Amen.